What what was the driver for this whole capacity building workshop?
Yes, thank you very much. This is a follow-up of the one that we first did. This one, the practical experience, and then bringing the people who have been the best in Ghana so that we learn from them. So that's why we brought some institutions like University of Cape Coast, right, to support us, and then the few challenges that we saw, which an outsider can bring on board so that we can accept it. That's why we brought on board those kind of things, right? Thank you.
I guess before this whole workshop, you had some expectations. Looking at, I mean, the capacity building is over. What would be your assessment?
Yes, generally, I think things were good. I think this has been very successful interaction, and a lot of people have also expressed interest in it. And in fact, there are a lot of loopholes that he has also provided uh, to the university. So I think we are going to work on that. And I think by the end of this year, that's the target of the directorate. We are going to be the best amongst the best in Ghana and Africa in general.
I'll come back to you for some wrap up, but no, you facilitated today's training program, and you're a seasoned grant researcher, right? What has been the major challenge for Ghana and then African institutions in assessing major grants?
Well, thank you very much. The culture of grant making in Ghana have actually been very poor. The emphasis of our institutions have always been on research for publication. But the impact that we want to make in communities have not been a culture that we've cultivated over the periods. Secondly, until recently that we've had a good news of having a national funding system being put in place, we compete on the global market for funds. And our ability to understand and appreciate how to attract this funding was missing in our training. Postgraduates go through training in our country, complete up to PhD without having the opportunity of even trying a hand on a grant. And that is our training package we have as a country. If we are able to build in a culture of grant making, then we'll get a very good foundation to build on. You cannot take the fact away that if you are going for an external fund, there are priorities of this funding. There are aims with which these fundings have been rolled out there. And it forces us as a country to be making impact in specific areas that people who do not understand our context provide money for. I always raise this point that we are doing a lot as Ghanaian researchers, but it is informed not by our local context only, but the needs of funders. And that is why I always say it's good that the Ghana National Fund is actually coming on board. And I believe it is going to be a leverage on which we'll be able to build an effective funding culture in our universities.
You mentioned AI and the role it plays in grant writing and all that, or in assessing grants. I don't know. There's this kind of perception that AI is going to take major work from humans. What is your stand on this? And then what would be the role of AI in grant assessments?
Well, thank you very much. In conceptualizing AI's role, I see AI as a tool. I keep emphasizing that there's no way AI is going to take up the role of human. Human judgment will still remain supreme to any AI system because it's built by human. The ethical use of a tool is very critical because if you are using a tool to facilitate your work, we use so many other tools before the advent of AI. For instance, we have used Microsoft Word in typing all over the years, and we've not had a challenge with it because it's still influenced by ethical use. So our ethical use of AI. So for instance, in the grant making, if you unethically use AI to develop an entire grant, no funder will be ready to fund such a grant because at the preliminary screening stage, we'll screen for all those. And once we screen and we get to know it is AI developed, then how are you going to implement it? Is it the AI going to implement? But if you are using it, for instance, to do a summary of key eligibility criteria of a core, which is about 50, 60 pages, and you might not have the time to read everything, it could pick up from that content, summarize the countries which are eligible to partake in that particular grant. This is a tool assisting you, not writing for you. And that is how we are supposed to perceive AI in the entire process. And I did emphasize again that as an institution, we need an AI policy. We cannot let things go the way it naturally goes. However people use it is fine. The institutional credibility will be affected if we don't have policies restricting how that tool is supposed to be used in the areas of grant making. I think once we do this, we should be fine with AI being a complementary tool to our work.
Right. No, I know the institution KTU has in place an AI policy. What step is the director taking to ensure that everyone's aligned with what is in this policy?
Yes, the whole thing is about capacity building and letting it known to some people. A lot of people don't know this. The whole thing is the appetite for grants is not there. So there's a need to weigh the appetite, the grant. But however, making sure that when you are going to, it's the process. So when you bring the thing and you review the thing at the directorate, it will not go out. So we know that there's a policy that states that you shouldn't, some percentage shouldn't fall within this or that. So if it doesn't pass through our directorate, it will not go out. So the whole thing is we have to formalize everything, making sure that before anything goes out, it passes through the necessary protocols, right? So that nobody can present something to an outsider, right, without the directorate having eye on it. Okay, so all these things are going to be sealed, so that if you write and then there's a need that you should inform the directorate and you don't do so, right, that's your own problem. There's no way that the university will own up when there's a challenge, right? So in fact, there are a lot of work that we are supposed to do. However, we are able to do it and we can do it, right?
Right. Any final comment before? Go.
Well, my final comments would be I had always emphasized on the Ghana Research Management Platform, a platform that we have created currently, University of Cape Coast, University of Ghana, and KNUST research offices coming together to build our capacity and learn together. We are hoping in the ensuing years, all other institutions within the country that have research offices will come on board. Let's learn together the best practices for the grant making world. Once we get the best practices and we learn from each other, I believe our institution will be able to make impact, train people very well. I, for instance, did my entire PhD on a project, my supervisor's project. It paid for my tuition, my stipend, everything because of somebody's project. But we have a lot of students struggling even to pay their fees to stay on programs in here. Once we're able to come on board and increase the winning rate of our grant in the institutions in Ghana, it will be very helpful. And we are hoping that this June, as we've heard that the Ghana Research Fund is also coming on board, it will also come on board and support grants making in the country. Thank you.
Now, do you support the Ghana Research Fund?
Yes, I think it is not bad. The whole thing is if you don't have the skill, you can't access funding. If you don't take care, like what is happening in other countries, the thing is there. And very few people will be accessing it. So everybody must have the opportunity to learn so that he can just draw funds from it. And it's a good opportunity. It's a good point because it's going to complement what's probably the other sources that you're also getting. So I think it is not bad, it's about how to manage it. And the challenge that I could see is how genuine the evaluation will go on. That is my challenge. Because if it is not done well, people will also abuse it. Okay? Because somebody winning, look at what somebody has won and you didn't win and those kind of things. So if the structures are not clearly spelled out, that's going to be a challenge. However, they should make things clear so that if you don't get it, you understand. Okay? So the whole thing is we should also do away with the human faces in this. We should do away with the human faces, making sure that everything is automated so that nobody will be favored because we have those challenges elsewhere and you don't want to repeat it in Ghana.
Right. Thank you so much for speaking to KTU Radio.
Thank you.